Okay, I'm at 104 Lodestone Drive in Englewood, Ohio, doing a sanitary lateral inspection for the purchase of a home. We're looking for any structural issues, root intrusion, anything that may be of concern to the buyer. Our access point here is an outside clean out, which you can see right here next to this bush. And so most of the time when on houses this age and this layout, they have sweeps on the bottom of this, meaning that the camera will only go out towards the street or out towards the main instead of going back into the house. And so we won't be able to inspect the interior cast iron, but most of the issues you see are on the exterior where it switches over to clay. There's short sections, and a lot of these houses have trees in the front yard. This one does not, and so hopefully that means that there's no root intrusion, because that is the most common thing we see with clay lines. And so we're going to go down there and check to see. Yeah, you can see how the mulch is sitting there on that turn, and it kind of basically forces the camera to go one direction with flow, instead of being able to go both directions and go back in the house. Now on the interior there is cast iron. Cast iron is a good material, but it's hard to tell how much life is left with cast iron, just because even if we were able to inspect it, you can't really tell how thin or thick the pipe walls are. So in those instances you're looking for functionality. I do have a couple things to mention about the cast iron, is that in most cases it is rusty, and it always will rust by nature of the material, and so it's a little more common to have what they call soft clogs with cast iron, meaning excessive toilet paper. Wet wipes are a big problem because they don't break down like toilet paper, and so we always recommend not to use wet wipes, period, but even more so with the cast iron, because the cast iron will break down. The cast iron will kind of grab those wet wipes and large amounts of toilet paper. That's why I tell you not to flush paper towels, none of that. It can catch on that, and then when it doesn't break down, it can cause a backup. They're easy to clear, but you still don't want that to happen, and so we always recommend that you don't use wet wipes. It's even more important in cast iron because of the nature of how rough the interior of cast iron gets. And normally you would see right here that this is cast iron. You see kind of the rust along the bottom. Now as we get out, the surprising part is that this all looks like concrete right here. It must go switch to concrete immediately as soon as it leaves the house, because usually there's at least a little bit of cast iron before it switches. And we'll take a look when we pull back that it must switch immediately out of the clean out, this access point, directly to concrete. Concrete is a really good material. It lasts for a long time. You can see on the sides it does wear a little bit, just with the exposed aggregate, but not a big problem. Like, all this is basically like mineral deposits. It's nothing of any concern. Concrete is less common than clay, but usually does a better job of keeping roots out. Let's see if we can. It it is really weird that the color and the looks like it's barely wearing away if you look at the you know, a lot of times you'll have some exposed aggregate or like exposed stone and concrete. You can see a little bit of that on the bottom of the pipe there, right around the flow line, and that's how you kind of tell there. These are also pretty big sections of pipe. And so far this all looks really good. And then we have a switch over to PVC, and it looks like here in the main there's a little bit of a buildup right here at the tap. That obviously has nothing to do with this line. It is something that should be taken care of as far as when the main builds up with water as it flows by. It should take this and push it on down the line. But pretty large glob of toilet paper and everything, so it's catching right there. But this is on the municipality. This is there's no responsibility by the homeowner to take care of this. But I'm going to go ahead and pause the video for a second because I just want to locate and make sure that we are at the main in the street, so we can verify that we are, you know, where we are and what the situation is. Okay, we're all the way out of the main, and so that buildup of stuff right there is actually in the sewer main, not in the lateral. Just wanted to verify that. So that is, if anything out there ever causes an issue, that is on the municipality or the sewer department, not on the homeowner. And this part of that section is also a tap. That piece of green PVC there, that is SGR 35, and that would have been installed by the sewer department also. But really, for the last 20 feet or so would be on the municipality even. But this all looks really good. The pipe is in great condition. I didn't see any defects at all. The line looks really good. There's also, no trees or anything. I'm also very I am also surprised that there's not even any root intrusion up here by the bush. This all looks really, really good. You can see on the sides, the flow line only gets up to about a third of the way up the pipe, if that, which is, it's usually way oversized for the amount of water that goes through here. And this all looks really good. The only thing that there was even a section to talk about was like right here, where there's a little buildup of like mineral deposits, where the groundwaters might get through a little bit and have some buildup of some calcium, most likely. But again, not a defect. It's kind of natural in an old sewer there. So yeah, you can see the cast iron right there at the bottom, and it must turn directly into concrete as soon as you get out of that fitting. As we are back vertical, you can see by the bottom left hand corner, that tells the angle that the camera is at. But that line looks great. No, like I said, no defects I can see at all. The
interior line. Obviously we weren't able to inspect that cast iron. And this is pretty normal. There's probably maybe 15 feet of pipe inside that runs straight back to the bathroom. And the kitchen runs in also, but usually the kitchen's not accessible anyway. Those kitchen lines are usually not accessible, and this is pretty common layout for these slabs like this. They put a clean out right outside, straight in line with the bathrooms, and then they all have those sweeps like I was mentioning earlier, and they only allow you to go away from the house, or downstream, and not back in. So unless you install a two-way clean out or get on the roof and try to go down through the vent or something, there's no real way of inspecting the interior piping. There's no access points on inside the house. So but yeah, the line looked great. I didn't see any defects at all. Everything is open and flowing. They were flowing water the whole time that I was doing the inspection, obviously, and it never even got high enough to cover the lens, which is only about a ½ an inch off the bottom of the pipe. So the line is in great shape, especially for its age, and no defects to report. So that'll end the inspection at 104 Lodestone Drive in Englewood, Ohio.